That's how we closed off the previous video. I figure might as well fucking pick up right where we left off. I have the strongest. This is Biden, okay? Right at the end of the year. He has the balls to make this fucking claim. Oh my god. I have the strongest first year economic track record of any recent president. Okay, First of all, okay, your predecessor kicked ass when it came to the economy. Okay, your previous job, okay, when you were vice president, you guys tanked the economy, even though you could argue it might have been set up against you. I don't really take any of that too terribly seriously, but for him to flout the fact that just in one aspect, inflation is through the fucking roof under your first year, I don't know how you make that claim with a straight face. But, well, okay, actually I do understand that. When you've had as much work done as Joe Biden, everything that you do is done with a straight face, perfectly, at a 90-degree angle. You could probably set a T-square on the side of that motherfucker's head. Joe Biden declared on Wednesday that despite record inflation and record trade deficit, he has the strongest first-year track record of any president in the last 50 years. Okay, we're ending 2021. Well, to be fair, I don't need to use the impression on this one because Joe didn't write any of this shit anyways. Just some fucking disgruntled intern and wrote this. We're ending 2021 with what one analyst described as the strongest first economic track record of any president in the last 50 years. He was talking about Dwight Eisenhower. The president tweeted, adding, let's go Brandon. Oh, I'm sorry, let's keep the progress going. On the same day, the Commerce Department released a dismal trade deficit report showing the gap between the cost of imported goods exceeding the value of exported at a record high and would likely continue for the duration of the coronavirus pandemic. When will that end? You can just end it in a moment. Snap of a finger. But you won't. One economist said, oh my god, I thought that's who Joe was talking about. He has one economist. Said the report showed the U.S. economy has never been weaker. No, Joe's fixing it. Joe's good, though. The November U.S. merchandise trade deficit surged to $97.8 billion, a new all-time record high. The deficit shattered expectations of $86 billion. Oh, God, yeah, there you go, record setter. And is a 17.5% higher than a prior month. This horrific data proves the United States economy is a complete disaster. It has never been weaker. No. The record-setting economic superstar, Joe Biden. Another tweet Wednesday, Biden touted himself as a hero for the working class. Okay. Citing the passage of the infrastructure bill while ignoring the implosion of his Build Back Better agenda. Okay, yeah, something that was passed literal months ago at this point, and yeah, you just got shit kicked a couple of weeks ago on the Build Back Better Act. I bet you tomorrow he's probably going to come out with something stupid and saying, oh yeah, my legislation, it just sails through Congress because Democrats know what we're doing. Cool. However, CNBC also noted on Wednesday the current record inflation has further widened the gap between the rich and the poor, as lower income households bear the brunt of rising prices. Wow, who could have possibly seen that coming? The coronavirus pandemic has led to a new era of inflation, inequality, economists warn, in which poor households bear the brunt of rising prices. You don't need an economy degree to figure that one out. That's because a bigger portion of the budget goes towards categories that have spiked in cost. Food is up 6.4% over the past year, for example, while gasoline jumped a whopping 58%. Fuck. And now many people are facing those higher prices as federal stimulus programs fade away. A recent analyst in the Penn Wharton budget model found the low and middle income households spent about 7% more in 2021 for the same products they bought in 2020 or 2019. That translates to about $3,500 for the average household. By contrast, spending by wealthy households went up only 6%. Huh. Still a lot, but it's less for the people that Joe Biden thinks he's a hero for. Chris Weimer, a co-director of the Center on Poverty and Social Policy at Columbia University, this should be somebody who's sympathetic to Joe, right? Told CNBC that lower income households are increasingly being forced to choose between essential items such as gas and food. Oh, okay. How are they going to spin this? They're essentially looking to stretch $1 most days, said Weimer. It's going to lead to difficult choices between putting gas in the car, paying for your kids' child care, or putting food on the table. Yeah, okay, everybody's in such a dire situation, but given enough time, they'll find themselves there. So, okay, so we got the economy taken care of, and Joe Biden's year in review, and we'll get to more broad topics tomorrow. I want to do that on New Year's Eve, of course, but what about one of the other biggest fucking failures for Joe, okay? Because he hasn't had very many W's, and I would point that out, but, yeah, when it comes to just big problems, well, short of talking about the vaccine mandate, which, is not going to be decided until at least the beginning of next year, it's been stayed and reinstated and dissolved and reinforced more times than hair plugs have been put into that lifeless dome to cover up all the little fucking sprinkler breaks just under that skull. We got the southern border crisis, the border fucking crisis, okay? And this kind of ties nicely because we got what? We'll just read the headline here. Biden's mass release of illegal aliens into the United States that cost Americans nearly $6.6 billion every fucking year. Joe Biden, economic track record. Obviously. Cost them more on illegal aliens, but yeah, no, they'll come in and they'll work and you can collect all of their tax dollars, right? Biden's mass release of illegal aliens into the United States interior is set to cost American taxpayers at least $6.6 billion annually, an analysis exclusively shared with Breitbart News. All right, the Federation, for American Immigration Reform analysis shared with Breitbart dives into Biden's record-setting year for illegal immigration, wherein the number of encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border has surpassed the population of many major American cities. More on that in a moment. The American public sees what's going on at the border, and they are alarmed. Yeah, if they do their due diligence, it's not getting covered by mainstream outlets, but it is important for the public to understand that there has been such a dramatic worsening of the situation at the border. The chaos along the border is no more transitory than inflation, despite the president and his spokespeople might say. It is not due to external factors beyond the administration's control. Yeah, no, they were trying to say it's because of my climate and all that other dumb shit. Sure it is. Fair analysis points to Biden's litany of incentives put in place for illegal aliens to come to the United States, combined with the simultaneous ratcheting down of interior and border enforcement. In particular, the number of border crossings and illegal aliens who have been released into the U.S. interior has skyrocketed more than any other metric, the fair analysis finds. In Biden's first year, hey, we're talking about that. The Department of Homeland Security released more than 285,000 border crossers with a notice to appear in immigration court at a later date. Yep, sure. And what was it, like 1%? That's not an over-exaggeration. That's not being hyperbolic. Like 1% actually show back up again and fulfill those notice to appears. Another more than 50,000 border crossers have been released without an NTA, and potentially hundreds of thousands more have been released into the United States interior. Yes, but like I said, more on that in a minute. I want to get down to the numbers themselves. Strained resources at the DHS as a result of the record of illegal immigration helped hundreds of thousands more illegal aliens successfully cross into the United States via the Mexico border over the last year than the year prior to when Trump was in office. For instance, the fiscal year 2020, DHS estimates that about 100,000 illegal aliens had successfully crossed the southern border without being detected by Border Patrol agents. In Biden's first year, that total hit roughly 400,000 in fair analysis notes. Combine those illegal aliens released in the United States interior and those who successfully crossed the southern border will cost American taxpayers at least $6.6 billion every year in the additional cost of illegal immigration. Considering that DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has implemented Immigration and Customs Enforcement apprehension guidelines that forbid prosecuting illegal aliens in almost all circumstances, it's a safe bet to assume that most of those illegal aliens will remain in the country long term. Yep. Already, illegal immigration costs American taxpayers about $134 billion each year, only set to go up further from there if record trends of illegal border crossings continue. And we got the year-end totals. Isn't it great? 1.9 million migrants apprehended along the southwest border. 500,000 got away. Cool. At least that's what they figure, because it's impossible to really know how many people got away. But we think it's about 500,000. Cool. And we're just in year one, guys. Border Patrol agents apprehended more than 1.9 million migrants who illegally crossed the southwest border with Mexico between ports of entry during 2021. Another estimated 500,000 migrants managed to avoid apprehension and sneak into the United States. Unofficial numbers indicate that Border Patrol agents assigned to the nine southwest border sectors apprehended approximately 1.929 million migrants who illegally crossed between the ports of entry in 2021. Official U.S. Customs and Border Patrol reports revealed that agents apprehended 1,773,674 migrants through the first 11 months of the year. A source operating under the umbrella of CPB told Breitbart that, with 3 days to go, that's when this article was written, obviously, agents apprehended approximately 156,000 migrants in December to date. So you can imagine probably in on or around 160 and change, probably. In addition to the apprehension of migrants, officials disclosed to Breitbart that at a minimum, 428,000 migrants are reported to have gotten away. The known gotten away count is updated daily by the Border Patrol, according to the source. The data is entered into the system of record easily accessible to agency leaders. The metric is usually not released by the DHS because they don't want to be like, yeah, we don't have enough resources and Biden won't give us any because they don't want to talk bad about their superiors, I suppose. The estimate is achieved by counting migrants who ultimately escape apprehension after being observed by aircraft and camera systems. If you just really wish you could just bomb them. Agents also use traditional sign cutting techniques to identify footprints. Cool. So what? Just track them by shoe print? Ah, that one came from Guatemala. Agents previously told Breitbart that numbers of gotaways are likely much higher this year because of the constant flow of migrants being apprehended along the southern border impedes the agency's ability to adequately patrol miles of border. The absence of routine patrols is driving the gotaway numbers up, and there are no available Border Patrol agents to respond to electronic sensors, camera activations, and unmanned aerial surveillance sightings. Yep, that's why it's probably... I couldn't even properly hazard a guess. All it is, it's just 500,000 is a conservative estimate. So yeah, I don't know why Biden didn't tout that. Those seem like record-setting numbers. But to be fair though, okay, I gotta give him a little bit of a W. He was deporting people, okay? Just people who wouldn't be terribly sympathetic to socialist causes. So he deported over 1,000 Cuban refugees, even though they were actually fleeing like a literal civil war that was happening in Cuba. Fucking weird how that happened, right? Made sure to ship back all of those Haitians who were escaping, you know what, a legitimate fucking situation where the president was assassinated. And then when a civil war, like I said, was manifesting in Cuba, no, ship all of them back, but continue to bring in all the Guatemalans, El Salvadorians, all of those people who are fleeing socialism. Weird. U.S. Coast Guard returned 1,019 Cuban refugees caught at the sea to the communist country in 2021, agents of the Cuban regime said this week, up from just 49 in the fiscal year of 2020. Wow. Castro regime, through its state media, confirmed the number on Monday, noting that the Coast Guard had most recently returned a group of 39 refugees to the repressive country. I'm sure they were probably summarily kept on said raft and tended to as only a repressive regime could. An estimated 187,000 people took to the streets and nearly every municipality in Cuba on that day in July 11th. Demanding an end to the 62-year-old communist regime, peacefully assembling to sing and chant anti-communist slogans, and then they had their heads caved in. I remember it. You guys probably remember it as well. So what does that end up meaning? Well, a lot of people are starting to turn on Joe. This is how we're going to end this one, obviously. You got Democratic governors saying that mask mandates are fucking retarded. This is the governor of Connecticut, okay, Ned Lamont, who's done a bunch of interesting things. I remember him signing on to something, okay? He wasn't going to be doing something. I think it might have been COOF adjacent, or it was some sort of normally or traditionally Republican. It could have even been CRT or trans athletes, something like that he was also talking about. But yeah, this guy is just another one in the latest list of different governors who are like, okay, enough with these fucking mandates. Okay, because you had Phil Murphy in New Jersey who had the fear of God put in him earlier in November. Okay, Jared Polis in Colorado say the exact same thing. And now you have Lamont, a Democrat, told reporters this week that COOF cases have surged in New York City in recent days. But he's in Connecticut. I get it, tri-state area, and a lot of people go on vacation on the weekends. So perhaps he's anticipating maybe a lot of people will be dragging it along to his state as well for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. If I think about things, I certainly think about nursing homes and other congregate settings where I think the booster shot is probably the number one priority. Don't really care about that as well. To make sure everybody can be boosted is boosted there. That would be my next priority. But what's important, mask mandates are not curbing the spike down in New York City, which is probably ground zero. Yeah, especially for the Northeast, obviously. On December 10th, New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced that masks will need to be required to be worn in all indoor places unless businesses or venues ask patrons or employees to show proof that they're vaccinated. Yeah, but a lot of municipalities and a lot of other counties were like, yeah, you can go fuck your mother, and we're not doing that. And then, yeah, even she later backtracked and said the counties had the option not to opt into the mandate after they were like, we're not opting into it. And she's like, that's okay, it's optional. Sure it is. If you could have got away with it, sweetie, you totally would have. But yeah, this is starting to backtrack on Democrats, and even towards, as we're heading towards the nice midterms, and the biggest story that's likely to happen next year is this impending bloodbath. Okay, I've been looking forward to it for a while. We just had to weather the storm of 2021, and thankfully, hopefully nothing terrible happens. Hopefully that great meteor of death doesn't decide to plow into the fucking earth tomorrow. I think we'll probably make it through. I think we'll probably be able to see the ball drop once again. It'll be, what, the 31st time I'll be able to see that? Cool, whatever. So glad to put this shit in the fucking rearview mirror, but looking forward to next year. Is going to be a Democratic bloodbath. Oh, you fucking know it. But it just depends. And it's going to be very interesting what primary season is going to hold for the Republicans. Because if it's just going to be like somebody running against Michael Bennet, the senator from Colorado, who's in a very, very tough situation. If he's just opposed by somebody, I don't know, we'll just throw a name out there, Bennett Michael. Somebody like that, it just hops up there. It's the exact same type of uniparty swamp creature who's running against them. What the fuck is going to be gained? But there are a lot of Senate Democrats that have their seats up for re-election. And a lot of them are safe as fuck, okay? You got one from Hawaii, you got Brian Schatz, and you got Chuck Schumer in New York. You could already call those races right now, and it's all fucking done and dusted, obviously. Yeah, 74% of Hawaiians support Schatz. Schumer in New York. Come on, are you fucking joking right now? Dick Blumenthal, old racist country club patron in Connecticut. He's too famous to be fucking ousted by somebody who doesn't have similar name recognition. Chris Van Hollen in Maryland? Yeah, it's Maryland. They vote like 75% clip for Republicans. So, I'm sorry, for Democrats. Whoops. Pat Leahy's withered old ass. He's up for re-election. I can't fucking believe that. Or at least his seat in Vermont. And then, yeah, Tammy Duckworth will fucking flip her feet. She's up for re-election. But she's the senator from Illinois. Okay, enough said, I think. Yeah, we can continue to run down the safe seats, but who's actually vulnerable, okay? You got New Hampshire Democrat, Maggie Hassan, okay? New Hampshire has been close as fuck, and I think that their state, okay, their state house, Congress and Senate, and the governor, they're all Republican right now, and they were within a cunt hair of being Republican, okay, voting, given their 4 electoral votes to Trump, both in 2016 and even closer in 2020, New Hampshire is right on the doorstep. Georgia Senator, Raphael Warnock, okay, he just won in 2020, and he's going to have to go up against Herschel Walker. Good luck, guy. Chairman Mark in Arizona. Good luck. Good fucking luck. I don't know who's going to be running against him, but yeah. Oh, Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich. Yeah, good luck, fucking Kelly. Oh my God, you're actually gonna have somebody who's a little bit more palatable to the public than that fucking simpleton Martha McSally. Gonna suck to suck, I guess. And Nevada's a weird case because you remember in 2020, they were one of those states where different recount efforts were very prevalent, and Nevada was hit hard by this lockdown, and they started to realize that, maybe Harry Reid, somebody rest his soul, he kind of fucked this entire state up. Maybe we need to start looking back to a little bit more of a Republican slant. So, breaking this down a little bit, in her 2016 race, Cortez Masto, this is Catherine Cortez Masto, pulled a 47.1% of the vote, narrowly edging out the Republican challenger, who received 44.7% of the vote. Despite these relatively narrow margins, Republicans may face more of a challenge in trying to make a breakthrough in the state than they face in other places. Unlike Georgia and Arizona, Nevada state legislature is run by Democrats, and it's because the desert state is dominated by the metropolitan Las Vegas, the state's most recent record of the notably blue-leaning in 2020. Biden beat President Trump in the state by 50.06%, 0.06% to Trump's 47.67%, and never looking at anything beyond those very honest and very reputable vote totals. Anyways, it's one of those seats that's definitely going to be up for grabs, and as for right now, announced candidates, Nevada's Attorney General Adam Laxalt. I don't really know his pedigree, I don't really know what he's up against, but or rather what he stands for, but he's the biggest name, and he's the one who's polling the best. It'll be interesting to see, that's for true. And Michael Bennet, the aforementioned Michael Bennet in Colorado, for a multitude of reasons. You could have a tough go with this. Those are just some of the incredibly early Senate seats that are going to be up for grabs in 2022. And like I said, this entire video, we're going to be talking about the record-breaking 2021 that Joe Biden is touting out there. Well, it's record-breaking in the complete different sense of the meaning that Joe was trying to put on it. So, congratulations, Joe. 1 down, 3 to go. Theoretically. We'll see if you can make it through. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.